The Gold Pass was the one thing keeping Clash of Clans from becoming Clash Royale, but after today, that might be officially over. From nerfing free-to-play loot into randomized chests, to adding a pay-to-win helper, this video covers all of the secret nerfs with a March 2026 update. Before we tear this update apart, let's start with what it actually gets right. Credit where it's due, here is the good side of the March update. First, the update adds 1 gem donation. You still receive it at the start of the pass, but now you can use it on yourself. This gives it a lot more practical value, especially since regular troop donations can already be covered with resources. Obviously, you can't donate to yourself that way. You'd normally have to use raid medals, which most of us prefer to save for the trader shop. So this is definitely an excellent change, and honestly, I'm surprised they didn't implement it sooner. Another positive aspect of this update is the addition of choice nodes. These allow players to pick between 2 different rewards, which is a great feature. It helps you select magic items and cosmetics that better suit your progression and playstyle. This also brings me to another important point. 3 shovels of obstacles have been added to these choice nodes. This is a huge bonus for Clash of Clans collectors, as recently the game has been releasing far more obstacles than shovels, making it difficult for collectors to manage and relocate their limited timed items. Additionally, when you're given the option to use a magic item that you already own, you can now choose to either use it immediately or sell it directly. Lastly, there's also a cool animation with the season bank. And yeah, that's about the last positive thing I needed to say here. Now we are on to the bad parts of the March updates. Firstly, and most evidently, is the new task system. This isn't just a UI change, it's a psychological trap. In game design, this is exactly how a fun hobby starts feeling like an obligation. By shifting the gold pass from a list of challenges you can finish at your own pace to a system of daily capped tasks, Supercell is trying to manufacture habit formation. They don't want you to play hard for one weekend, they want to force you to pull the lever every single day. This design relies on the Zygarnik effect, your brain's tendency to obsess over unfinished tasks. When you see a stamp card or a daily point cap that isn't full, it creates a state of tension in your mind that only resolves when you finish the chore. It's no longer about the joy of a 3-star attack, it's about the relief of checking a box. And the result is a feeling of FOMO that borders on anxiety. If you miss a Tuesday, those points are gone forever, and you are now mathematically behind on your 20% boost. Speaking of the 20% boost, this is where the first problem ignites a new one. The 20% boosts and other similar perks have been moved later down the line in the season track, which may not look like a big problem until you realize now there is a delay cap on points. You're physically prevented from accelerating. If my math is correct, you're looking at a delay of roughly 5 to 7 days before those boosts even kick in. That is an entire week of building and lab research time lost to a balanced system that nobody asked for. By moving these perks further down the track, Supercell is effectively stealing time from the consumer, and not to mention, you can't use those perks for discounted time and resources with the loot you get from last season, which is very inconvenient. When you buy the gold pass, you aren't just buying magic items, you're buying a 30-day window of efficiency. By gatekeeping that efficiency until day 12 or 13, they've shaved off nearly 25% of the total value. It's a classic corporate move to keep the price the same while shrinking the product. They're selling you a 30-day pass, but they're only letting you use the best part of it for around 18 days. The most frustrating part is the strategy they're using to distract us. They've added the prospector, which, don't worry, is also a scam and we'll get to it very soon, but they added him at the very end of the track to make the pass feel new and improved. But it's a total smokescreen. Most players don't even unlock the prospector until day 20, meaning it's only active for a third of the month. They're trading a few pieces of starry ore for a massive month-long nerf to your overall builder speed. It's an obvious attempt to slow down player progression under the guise of smoothing it out, and for anyone who actually does the math, it feels like a total scam. So far, we've only been talking about the paid side of the pass, but what about the other 80 to 90% of the player base who don't spend? How are they going to get affected by this update? Well, unfortunately, if you're free to play, it's not looking too hot either. Currently, you can pull anywhere from 120 to 150 guaranteed gems every single month through the silver pass by selling research potions and other magic items that you might not need. But the March update replaces almost all of these reliable rewards with chests, and the math behind these lucky drops is disgusting. Based on some calculations, a standard common chest, which has a 58% drop rate, is worth an average of only 3.89 gems. Here's how that breaks down. Out of a pool of 1,000 chests, roughly 778 of them contain 0 gems. They instead spit out snacks or small piles of resources that have 0 resale value. When you factor in the tiny probabilities of hitting an epic or legendary chest, which are less than 3% and 0.4% respectively, you realize you are trading a flat, guaranteed income for a gamble where the house always wins. I know a lot of people, however, that love gambling, and this doesn't mean anything to them. But this is a massive hit to the free-to-play economy because gems are super important for progression, especially now that we have equipment and helpers to invest into. Those 150 gems a month were what allowed free-to-play players to eventually buy the giant gauntlets or save up for the 5th builder. By replacing guaranteed value with RNG excitement, Supercell has effectively just destroyed the only reliable way free-to-play players could save up for high-tier equipment. You want a reliable source of gems to actually progress? Tough luck. Here are some wall rings and a clan castle house roof. Finally, we have to talk about the ugly side of this update, the prospector. For months, the community has been begging for an ore helper to fix the most broken economy in the game. But instead of a solution for everyone, it feels like a total gatekeeping move. By locking the prospector behind the gold pass, Supercell has officially paywalled a core progression mechanic. What's even worse is the math behind this premium helper. To even unlock the prospector, you have to hit 2,400 points. With the new daily caps, that takes about 20 to 21 days, meaning you're paying for a helper that only actually works for you about 9 days of the month. On top of that, the conversion rates are staggering. You're trading 1,000 shiny ore for a single starry ore. If you calculate that by gem value, you're paying a massive premium for pocket change levels of progression. They're using the excitement of a new helper to distract us from the fact that they've nerfed builder boost and gutted the silver pass. At the end of the day, the prospector should have been a universal feature. Instead, it's being treated as a revenue booster rather than a gameplay improvement. However, I want to make it clear that all hope is not lost. This update is set for the March 1st season, and the team has stated that they're sharing these changes early specifically so we can prepare and provide feedback. This means the power is actually in our hands. If the community speaks up, if creators keep making these arguments, and if people vote with their wallets by skipping the gold pass next month, I believe we can get Clash of Clans back on the right track. After all, fixing this isn't that complicated. Half of these updates actually look amazing, and several parts of the UI are genuine improvements. Supercell just needs to find the balance. I understand that the game is a business, but you cannot compromise the free-to-play experience to this extent. The solution is simple. Move the 20% boost and the other perks back to the start of the track so they unlock around day 5, and lift those heavy daily caps so we can progress at our own pace again. And if they are dead set on keeping the prospector as a premium feature, they at least need to throw a bone to the silver pass users. Give them 1 or 2 uses a season so they aren't completely locked out of the ore economy. At the end of the day, we want a game that feels like a village, not a job. Let's hope Supercell is actually listening this time.